We are live, and we got rid of Dennis. All right. The truth is we don't even like Dennis. All right. A lot of people thought, like, for the longest that me and Dennis were actually friends. I don't even like the guy. In fact, I don't even really know the guy. Who is Dennis? All right. So you came here for the SMT show. It's been hijacked. It's been podcast jacked. It's now Sneed time. All right. No Dennis, no more. So it's just going to be me, this microphone, you, and the device that you're watching this on. There will be no Dennis. All right, so we got a total change of plans. All right, so if you signed up for something else, then get out of here because this is a Sneed show, and there's nothing you could do to stop it. This is like the SMT train right here. All right,
Oh,
now,
yeah? It's the
oh,
train, huh? What's up, everyone? We are live with another episode of the Best Phone Plans Podcast. And tonight, we got my good friend Sneed on. We
hey,
figured
buddy.
we'd play a little prank on you. So everyone that's tuning in, we're going to be talking about some great topics tonight. We're going to be talking about how Dish has started to sell home internet. We're going to talk about how cable has increased their upload speeds.
Man.
AT&T deploying C-Band finally, and the new U.S. mobile plans that have come out. But before we get too deep into it, make sure y'all are sharing this on the Twitters and the social medias and smashing that beautiful like button. All right, Sneed. Kicking it off with something that you've talked about today. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about the Dish story.
Crazy, man.
So
Nuts.
I'm just getting that up on screen for us here right
Kind of like
quick.
out of left field, wouldn't you say, Dennis?
100%, 100%.
Not, and it's no like it's no groundbreaking development, but it's just an oddity. Like I said, kind of out of left field. It's a doozy.
Yeah, so Dish partner. So for anybody that's not in the know, Dish worked out an agreement with AT&T to become a reseller of their fiber. I thought this was interesting. Well, I wasn't as shocked as Sneed was to find out about this because Dish actually, if you didn't know this or not, Sneed, Dish has always actually resold internet from different ISPs.
Yeah, like Spectrum, I think, Xfinity, or I know
And
Cox for sure.
Cox, yeah, Cox,
Yeah,
Frontier.
yeah.
But the reason why this one is particularly a little bit more interesting is because it seems to be a more intimate partnership of sorts. And by that I mean AT&T specifically has had a known history of allowing actual proper resellers to rebrand and resell their product. Where like in a if Dish was to sell like some Comcast, for example, on your bill you would see like Comcast Internet, Dish TV. In this circumstance, with how AT&T has worked with others in the past, Dish can brand this as their own product.
Dish Home Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Dish Broadband or whatever.
What do you think this is going to mean for customers, though? Like, what reason would they want to get their home internet through Dish versus just going through AT&T directly, though?
I could only think of two situations, Dennis. The first one being they absolutely hate AT&T and like hung up on them and cussed them out, and they're like to never return. And then like Dish, they'll be like, "Yo, we can sell you this service," and you'll be like, "Well, I guess I'll take it because now I don't have to deal with AT&T proper. I don't have to deal with their customer care. I don't have to deal with their billing system. We've heard the nightmares, Dennis. You know, like all those types of things." And the other scenario was maybe for a small discount on your Sling TV or some kind of like, because you have this service, you can also get this one, and we'll apply a $10 discount or something like that. I can't imagine why or how any of this could make sense otherwise.
So that brings up something interesting, actually. If you do have a problem, it's to my understanding you're still going to have to deal with AT&T, though, aren't you? Like, if you need like a technician to come out to fix the fiber, it's going to be an AT&T guy that comes out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but do you have to initiate that with AT&T, or do you put in a complaint with Dish, who then facilitates and plays middleman?
man, I don't know.
Because
That's why
that
I'm
could be,
curious.
are they trying to dodge the whole entire AT&T dynamic?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think ultimately, when it comes to the crux of it all, unless Dish is going to have their own biller that is like intimate, I think they're gonna have to start forcing it off to AT&T when it comes to those types of troubleshooting. You know, like there's trouble, like actually scheduling the troubleshooting. Like I think you're gonna have to actually talk to AT&T,
Yeah.
since that's probably gonna be inside AT&T's biller when they send out that technician, and get it done that way.
Yeah.
Well, that was a short topic, but it was an interesting one. I thought that Dish is getting more buddy buddy with AT&T considering the relationship they
let
developed.
let all the tentacles just get intertangled and intertwined, man.
That, and plus, I mean, they're technically competitors on the TV space, which is also why it's interesting.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, one offers streaming services, so does the other. One offers an actual TV proper, like I mean, what, Sling TV, and then they've got a couple of packages, and then they have like regular Dish Network, right? Which is what they probably have like 4 or 5 national plans that they sell, right? So they're it's kind of crazy, but this probably wouldn't have happened had it not have been for the network agreement. You got to think that that's kind of like the origins or the foundations of this.
I think it's that, and I think it's also a combination of the fact that AT&T is super willing and wanting to sell off DirecTV, so they probably don't care, and they kind of want to merge those two
Yeah.
segments.
Yeah, I think some of that's there too, man. That's just those things have to be regulated.
Oh,
A lot of people
Carlos
have
coming in.
ideas.
Carlos came in. He said, no, it won't. It'll be Dish Direct handling billing and all. Even techs are getting trained to install the products.
Oh, okay. All right. So what's happening there is that is going to reduce the burden of AT&T. That might be why they agreed to this. But then they also have the liability too. If Dish technicians are, I mean, dude, do you really want Dish technicians that are improperly trained going out and messing with fiber lines and drops and pedestals and and hey, ONTs? I mean, there's all types of stuff, right, Dennis?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I have to imagine that the
What
Dish
if they
techs.
start? What if they start carrying separate gateways, dog?
Well, the way I look at it is I have to imagine that the Dish techs will probably be treated like, because like we all know that big ISPs always have contracting partners, right? And there's usually like a tier system, right? I
Mhm.
have to imagine that Dish reps will kind of be treated like probably like tier one, maybe tier two if they're lucky, and then like all like the actual stuff that has to be done at like outside the house, like if it's a thing on the main lines, I have to imagine that will be like AT&T proper maintenance truck going out, because with those situations that doesn't require customer interaction, so it doesn't matter if AT&T is the one that has to go out. You get what I'm saying?
Or do you think this is actually going to be something like what we see with T-Mobile and that company in Manhattan, that fiber company? You remember Pilot?
Oh yeah.
Like, could this be that?
I mean, it could be where Dish is just the face and everything else,
Yeah.
but Carlos is saying that that's not the case, and I know Carlos has a lot of connections. He might know something we don't, but
Hey, we'll talk to him behind the scenes. I'm sure there's a lot of details he can fill us in on.
before I move on to the next topic, I want to take a page out of your book and thank a few of the people that I see coming in with comments. C
Yeah.
Diesel, good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you
What
can
up,
make it to
C?
the stream. TJ, good to see you, my friend. Alternate
TJ.
Reality, friend of the
They
show,
are.
friend of the community.
Yep.
Lucky, always trying to give shout outs to Cricket, but good to see you, my friend.
What up, Luck?
MS, good evening, all. Good evening to you as
MS.
well. Logan coming in with a comment about the US Mobile revised unlimited plans, which I was planning to save that for later, but why don't we make that the next topic? So we'll talk about that real quick, and then Rye, I'll touch on your topic as well, since we'll be talking about these two plans. I think it'll be a perfect transition. So, Sneed, have you been paying attention to the MVNO game, specifically with the new US Mobile plans?
Caught wind of it last night. I saw a post on it. Best MVNO covered it. I think I have a feel of what's going on there. And I think just based on what I saw from Ahmed, they're handling it well. I think there's a lot of transparency there. I think there's a couple of things that people need to understand. And then once they kind of let that sink in, I think a lot of the venom that was kind of brewing at first when it was released in this news, I think some of that venom will kind of subside a little bit. So, but I think what's important, Dennis, is we have to frame it like this. They introduced their plans at a really competitive introductory price that was ultra competitive, right? Like you're saving money 99% of the time by choosing US Mobile. And then people started asking for more. And when you ask for more, you must understand the negotiation there is you will be paying for more. Unless you come to that reality, you are going to be sorely disappointed and disconnected from the reality that a business is open to make money and they are not there to give things out for free. A good business transaction involves two things: party A selling a good or service to party B, and both being satisfied with the outcome. That's a good business transaction. Both need to win. Nobody's doing stuff for free, right? So let's just frame it that way and we can take a look at the deets.
Okay. Well, on my screen, I have the pricing breakdown for the unlimited premium plan. So, from a pricing standpoint, on paper, the premium pricing has not changed. However, and this comes in with what you were talking about the increased costs, and I think this is a point of contention for many, they stopped including tax and fees. That's where the increased cost comes from. And while I think it's awesome that they're incorporating more, and while I think it's great that Ahmed has been very transparent about the fact that these fees are existing, and I've seen like the Reddit community talking about some of like clarifying some of the confusion, I still think this is kind of a step backwards. It's like we took one step forward and two steps back when it comes to the US Mobile. We'll call it the epilogue in my eyes, because I specifically remember tax and fees being one of the most important things that we're talking about on Reddit. I know when we had Ahmed on for the first time on the show, we voiced a question about tax and fees being included, and we commended him for including tax and fees. I know this is like semantics, but I would have preferred if he would have just increased the price to like $50 for the first line or 55 and kept tax and fees included and done it that way than doing what he's doing right now, because I feel like tax and fees being included is what separated him from something like a Mint Mobile or from like some of the other MVNO options that were out there.
So I'm looking at the plans, I'm looking at the pricing. It's competitive, Dennis. The taxes and the fees, however much that adds up to, we'll say that it's specific to every region, market, city, state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to impact people a little bit differently. There are some people who will be mostly unfazed by this. There are some people who are going to be disappointed and view it as a regression. Unfortunately, I just think that the whole tax and fees included thing, it's really hard to do for a carrier. You guys have to think about what T-Mobile decided when they decided to do taxes and fees included. They literally signaled to their investors, they signaled to the consumer base, we're not going to be making a lot of money on our service. For T-Mobile, since they started doing taxes and fees included, they don't generate a lot of revenue. If you look at their operational income and you look at their profitability, T-Mobile struggles to make money. And a lot of people are like, well, I want the network better and I want more towers and I want more upgrades. They're trying to do it, and they've got a ton of free lines and they've got taxes and fees included on so many of their plans. They don't make money like AT&T and Verizon do. And those are the carriers that don't include taxes and fees. And you're eating up the cost, right? As the carrier, those are dollars that should be coming to you, that it's taxes and fees. It's on the sale. Your business pays taxes, right? Income taxes and all payroll taxes and all these things. And now the customer should be paying taxes on the sale of the service, but they're not going to. You're going to eat it up. That's a tough business decision. When he made that decision, I think at the end game, he knew that this day was going to come. He did it for as long as he could. The company grew. He's hired more people. There's more customer care. He's got more overhead today than he ever had. He's got more customers. He's making money, but he needs to continue, because now if you look at this, he just recently got an infusion of cash. He now has investors that believe in him. This was the most likely scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your point. I understand where the business comes in on it. I get all these things. I just the word transparency, right? To me, tax and fees being included is a more transparent thing than making it a guesswork where it's like this ratio of, can be between $1 and $5. And then you got to start doing the mental arithmetic depending
Did
on like,
Verizon change the terms on them?
I have no clue.
That would be one thing I would think about because Verizon just added $2 increases to all their consumer bills. Anything there? I mean, I'm assuming that these contracts and these agreements between MNOs and their MVNOs are at least a couple years long,
Uh,
maybe 3 years.
well, I was going to say, I mean, granted, this is a separate story, but with no radio, I was on a spaces with him the other day. And I know that for Spectrum Mobile, they got like a 10-year contract. Like price, they can't.
Locked in.
Yeah, like they can't. Like Verizon cannot change the price or they're gone.
Yeah,
like,
it's
deal.
perpetual. Exactly.
Yeah, like they can't even change the terms of the agreement. Like if 5G is included, 5G is included. Like they can't. They can't do anything.
Legal binding contracts.
So I don't know if US Mobile had one of those or not, or how that works.
I would think so. I mean, I just threw it out there because unless they're at will, which, I mean, how do you run a business at will like this? You need contracts.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm not super mad because for someone like myself, the changes are overall a net positive. I mean, having more high-speed data is fantastic. Having 50 gigs of hotspot included,
it's crazy,
is literally insane. I mean, it's literally better. It's more hotspot than what AT&T and T-Mobile offer on their premium plans.
Yep.
And then they came out with the unlimited basic, which is a little bit more affordable. It's not
Dennis,
as
before I forget.
Yeah.
He did mention fixed wireless being a thing. So let's circle back to that after you get through your details.
Yeah, no, I mean, they did add on unlimited basic. It's not as exciting. I think it's like, if I remember correctly, it's like 22 gigs. I'm struggling so hard to find that best MVNO post, but I know it has like 22 gigs or something like that, and I think it doesn't have hotspot like the old plans did, but it's cheaper, so it's whatever. Anyway, go ahead. Let's talk about the fixed wireless, man. All you.
They want to do fixed wireless, apparently. US Mobile fixed wireless. That would be nuts, man. Like, gateway, right? Would they just be shipping Verizon gateways? Are they going to stock Verizon gateways? Or BYOD? You purchase you a Netgear Nighthawk, the one that's got the C-Band, the N77. Get yourself a US Mobile SIM. Pop that sucker in, man. Connect a router. Boom. You got yourself a customized fixed wireless access situation. And it could be capped, like how the Verizon terms are, 300 downlink, 100 uplink, whatever that cap is. I don't know what it is. And then what would they sell it at? I mean, $40, $50?
I don't think they're going to be coming in at a price like that. I mean, we have
Verizon sells it for what, 60, and then with auto pay you get a discount, and then if you have their wireless, it gets cut in half. So it's like, if they come in at $50, $60, I mean, that's pretty daggone attractive, man. And that keeps you away from the big carriers. You're trying to stay away from them.
Yeah, but we have an instance in which an MVNO offers a home internet product. It was like Ultra Mobile, which is like one of Mint, like the sister company of Mint. And I remember the pricing being ridiculous. It was like $100 for like 50 gigs or something stupid.
No, this is a true fixed wireless access solution.
No, this was literally them selling the T-Mobile Home Internet Gateway, but for like way more pricing than what the T-Mobile Home Internet Gateway costs.
I wouldn't expect US Mobile to do that. You expect US Mobile to be uncompetitive?
I expect them to not be able to match the price that Verizon's coming in at with like $25, $35 with the discounts. And
yeah, I got them coming in at $50, $60.
I would see them coming in at like 70, 80, maybe 100.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't see them being able to sell it for anything even remotely close to what Verizon's touching it on right now, because I don't see
He
Verizon
said it.
going to.
Ahmed said it. He said fixed wireless access. He did.
He did say it, but he didn't say what the pricing would look like.
No. So I'm guessing that that's on the agenda. They're digging on it. They're probably inquiring and they're seeing how they could structure that.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably looking into. All I'm saying is that, like, I just don't see Verizon wanting to play ball. I guess is my shtick. Like, I don't see them wanting to play nicely with US Mobile to let them do something like that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if they could, that would be awesome, because then that would mean that Verizon actually has a prepaid option, like how T-Mobile has Metro selling their product.
Yeah, and they'd be very inclined to be willing to sell something as a prepaid option and then not have to serve those customers. Network as a service and call it a day. And we know that they're having trouble growing their proper brand. Might as well wholesale it. Better than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think an interesting thing that US Mobile should focus on is the possibility of the premise of what he was kind of talking about, which was like having all devices being able to use data. So, like, instead of being tied down to this fixed wireless home internet at a single location, you have literally internet on the go. So basically a hotspot on steroids would be kind of a cool concept, I think.
Yeah.
But anywho, I know earlier I promised to touch on a comment from someone asking about here it was from Rye. He asked me about Xfinity Mobile when we were talking about US Mobile. So, does the Xfinity Mobile plan that we have, well, that I have, that I also gave to you, Sneed, have the buy the gig or unlimited? And the answer is we did the unlimited plan. All of us activated with 5G phones, because to get the priority data, you need a 5G you need to activate on the new third generation plans with like a 5G device to have priority data. That, and plus the thing that was worth testing is to see, is C-Band still considered like uncapped, which it is. And we're comparing it to like other postpaid plans from Verizon to see how good it is. So we have the unlimited plans. I got 5 lines, 3 went to Carlos, 1 went to Sneed, 1 went to myself. Someone else asked me something that I feel like needed clarification before I transition. It was from Bassam Richard. He was asking what's the real comparison between the previous unlimited all and the new premium tier. All these bands include on the older plan versus this new premium. The comparison, Michael Peppertech came in pretty clutch with this comment, is this. So unlimited all was like 45, 60, 75, then 100. Premium is 45, 80, 105, and 120. But the increase in data went from 75 to 100 gigabytes with 50 gigs of hotspot included. Whereas with the old unlimited all plans, you had to actually pay $10 per line for 20 gigs of hotspot on the unlimited all plans. So it's pretty comparable, but you're getting more. I will say that at least US Mobile is doing the right thing in line grandfathering customers to keep their old pricing. I think that's big. And I saw on the Reddit post too that they were doing a lot to, help people out that had like student discounts and stuff like that. So,
well, the customers would leave. I mean, let's be honest. These are transient customers who are always looking for the best deal.
Yeah.
And they'll be loyal so long as they feel they're getting what they're paying for.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. But I feel pretty good. And, Train, don't worry, man. I'm just glad you can make it. You're not missing too much. We just talked about Dish selling home internet, US Mobile's new plans, touched on Xfinity a little bit there. But speaking of Xfinity, I think this is a good time to actually touch on that topic with big cable, specifically Xfinity, apparently increasing their upload speeds. Sneed, I know that you know about this because I shared it with you as soon as I saw the freaking post on Reddit.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So is the theoretical 200 or beyond?
Right now, from what it appears based off of a few different posts now on Reddit at this point, is people down in Florida on the gigabit tier are noticing 200 megabit per second upload.
So they were essentially upgraded overnight. Just woke up and speeds were 200 meg.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so it looks like possibly the DOCSIS 4.0 is alive and well.
Well, this wouldn't be DOCSIS 4.0. DOCSIS 4.0 would both be giving even higher upload speeds than this.
DOCSIS 3.1.
It's probably just a mid split.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah. So mid splits could be a considerable upgrade for a lot of people, Dennis.
Yeah. No, it would be a tremendous upgrade for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's probably what it is. And I'm going to also take a guess and say they're probably in a trial market.
So they're going to kind of see how it plays out, how it performs, and people's uptake.
Kind of. Because it wasn't publicly announced anywhere that I could see. It just kind of came a thing where people started posting on Twitter and Reddit.
They're probably like in apartments and, like they're just like trialing it. The thing I'll say about the uplink, they're at about 200 megabits per second, and it looks like they're kind of like over provisioning or whatever, as they typically do. Those speeds do something really important for them, and that's distinguish them from fixed wireless access. Like, this comes in so clutch at a time where people are about to churn out in order to either A, save money, or B, get away from the prying hands of Cable Town, right? And there may be a history between these customers, and there's some venom there. Man, this is going to make people think twice, because you're downgrading. Unless you're going to millimeter wave, you will be downgrading here to go from this, whatever this is, to like 300 down, 200 down, 100 down, and then uplinks anywhere between like 5 to 50 megs probably in most cases. Unless you're on millimeter wave, you can start squeezing out the hundreds and the 150 mark.
Well, Sneed, speaking of people switching, how about we talk about the significantly more aggressive promotions that we were seeing? I know when we was on your show, maybe it was a week or two ago, you had someone that you knew in the community give you like leaks or something about new plans, and it finally became official.
Yeah.
Comcast.
Yeah. I mean, people have been reaching out, Dennis. It's active right now. There is a lot of stuff going on. Big cable town. So we're talking about Charter and Comcast here. They appear to be responding, which is good because their consumer base isn't growing as it was before. So they have to get back into the competitive space and either A, get these customers back, or B, retain, right? You don't want to let them churn. It's a much more difficult proposition to get a customer back than it is to just keep them in the first place. Yeah, and Cable Town has never had to deal with these pressures. They're new to this, so I'm glad they're responding. The promotions look good, Dennis, and with these types of upgrades, it's going to be compelling for people to stay.
Yeah, but there's a specific one that I really want to point out because now that they're live, it's official. We were able to see them. There was a promo that was out west where it was get 600, I think they call it super fast, 600 megabits per second down, 20 up, plus an unlimited cell phone plan. All in, you're paying $75. Modem rental and unlimited data included for 24 months, no contract. That wasn't the gig that we were talking about when you were talking about the rumors, but that is probably the speed most people would settle on.
And what's the pricing at, Dennis? About $80, you said?
75 all in. See,
that's the price point. I think that's what people want to see. That one's easy to afford, Dennis, right? Like you're getting a fast, capacitive plan or tier with all that stuff included in terms of like what you'll need to actually run the network. I think people can live with that. They can stomach that. They can handle that. Once you start pushing like that 90 to 100, if someone's on the fence, they're gonna be like, I'll give me your lesser plan, and try to come in at the $60 price point. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that 90 to 90 territory, because it is, I think it was 95 if I remember correctly. 95 all in gets you their gig plus the unlimited internet.
That's pretty good. That's pretty competitive, man. And if it's performing like this, right, with this type of uplink, see now I think you have something, because then it's competitive with fiber.
Well, I could tell you one thing. I know it's not performing like this over here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you're not getting that uplink yet, huh?
Nah, no. Well, I don't even have the gig, but it's not performing this way because I have friends that have gig, and it's not performing this way up in Pittsburgh. It seems to be very centrally focused around Florida and Denver. Denver is the other place because Pete confirmed it whenever I was on your show, if you remember.
Yeah, and that's because they got fiber up their wazoo. And I think in Florida there's like this incredible influx of people that are transplanting.
Well,
They're
yeah, there
picking
was
up
that
and going to
article.
Florida.
There
Oh
was that
yeah.
article where Verizon was talking about how the majority of their customers were going down to Florida or Texas, and so they actually had to spend like an extra. I think it's like they allocated like an extra like 10 million or something just to Florida for adding capacity or something like that.
So if wireless carriers are doing that, then why wouldn't the home internet providers also be doing the same thing? Like they have to create capacity too. They've probably been building, actively installing more coax or fiber and I'm assuming, they're modernizing too, a lot of the hardware. Bet you the back end systems are getting some attention too, man.
But the reason I just want to talk about this on the stream is because I know that you said DOCSIS 4.0 is never coming. Those are the words that you said.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis, I have to see it.
Well, does this make you think like does this give you a little bit of hope, kind of like
Yeah,
how I was
like
down on
by
Dish?
2030. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is DOCSIS 3.0 or 3.1 or we're not even seeing that in some places. Like Dennis, dude, the Cox cable here, I mean, it's trash, bro.
Okay.
So you're talking to the wrong guy if you're looking for a cable apologist.
Well,
or
I'm
a
not trying to
DOCSIS.
make you a cable apologist. It's more so along the lines of like, how I was down bad on Dish for a good year,
Oh yeah.
2 years.
Deserving though. Deserving.
Yeah.
Your thought process is 100% on par with their history. And that's what I'm using. On par with Cox's history and the providers, they're doing nothing, dog.
Fair enough. Well, let's see. We talked about this. Oh, gotta save the best topic for last, of course, especially since I'm the AT&T guy for most people. How about the fact that AT&T is finally deploying meaningful C-band?
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Do you still got the speed test picture that you took?
Yeah, man. I got it on my Twitter. Actually, you know what? Let me you got me on Twitter.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Click on my profile, man. Get my tweets up. All right, and of course, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sneed Tech. All right, Telco Poppy, the telecom goat.
Well, I'm Telco Jesus, so
I know. But if you guys follow me there, you'll see some of the tweets. I shared some of the speed tests. Dude, I was coaching my daughter's soccer practice today, and all three carriers had their mid-band 5G live on the site. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And I ran the speed test, and I put the three tweets together. I probably should have strung them together as like a thread or a series of posts. But you'll see those three tweets. And I think the first one I did was AT&T. The second one was Verizon. And the third one was T-Mobile. And boy, I will tell you, man, AT&T is doing upgrades in days. Verizon is doing upgrades in weeks. And T-Mobile hasn't really done much for upgrades, probably like in the last 6 months. Pretty much whatever sites have had N41, that's all it is right now. So they've kind of like slowed down here. But dude, it is so good. If you can even zoom in or whatever, you'll see that it's over 400 megs down. It's about 35 meg up. And the ping times are in the teens, so it's solid. The jitter and stuff, it's a brand new site. I don't know. I'll give them a little bit of wiggle room for now. But in a week or two, I will be holding them to a very stringent standard. I want to see the jitter gone. I want to see the downlink improved. I want to see the range improved. But dude, I'm literally seeing sites for AT&T getting done in like 48 hours. And then sites getting turned on like 2 days after that. So we're seeing upgrades in a week, like less than a week. Meanwhile, Verizon is kind of encountering certain problems. For example, they've got to wait on the fiber provider to do the transport. So like they've got CBRS, they got the C-Band up there, all these radios, these antennas. It's great, it's phenomenal. And then we're waiting for fiber. So you're waiting on the ILEC to come by and upgrade, and whatever the transport hardware has to be changed and fixed and or upgraded and modified. So like Verizon has the most crews out, but AT&T can oftentimes be their own fiber provider doing the transport, and then the upgrades are done faster. It's crazy.
Yeah, on the topic of deployments, real fast, and this is a kind of a little bit of a spicy take. I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, but I kind of feel like Verizon is in the same boat as T-Mobile when it comes to backhaul issues, in a way.
I wouldn't go that far because Verizon does own a pretty nice size footprint. AT&T's numero uno
by a
like
long country mile. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. When it comes to like national fiber miles run, it's AT&T, and Verizon's a distant second, and then it's like Spectrum and CenturyLink and Comcast and everybody else. They're like, I mean, it's not even close, Dennis. Like, and I've heard some people talking about how, like, I think it was some people in the SMT community that were like, oh yeah, I remember T-Mobile got some of that Sprint fiber
that goes to the middle of nowhere.
It doesn't run to any other towers. Like it's not meaningful to them. Like they're hawking it. They're trying to get rid of it. They can't use it.
Literally every single year that they own that fiber means that it gets less and less valuable, because here's the funny thing, Sneed. The places that fiber actually does go to are the same places that the government is so heavily begging people to run fiber to. They're like, please, we will pay for it. We will pay you for 10 years. Just run the fiber, connect people. Mm-hmm. And so you got all these different actual companies just doing it themselves, doing it right, getting it to places that matter, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's just T-Mobile sitting here doing nothing with that Sprint fiber, which is a shame, because I think some of it actually ends up actually going through Canada and up into like other places.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on it. But
I don't know. Sprint was weird, dude. It's very possible. Sprint had weird assets, man.
Dude, yeah, dude. It's a shame that they didn't make use of it, because honestly, bro, imagine a world where if Sprint actually did invest in their actual fiber, became like a proper tier one.
If somehow, some way, Masayoshi-san would have woke up and smelled the hibachi, he could have straight up won in 5G. It didn't have to be T-Mobile. It didn't have to be Verizon. It didn't have to be AT&T. It could have been Sprint, but they couldn't do it on $4 billion annual capex. It was going to have to triple if they were going to get ahead.
See, that's the thing, though. If Sprint was a tier one ISP, their revenue per quarter just freaking quadruples overnight. Like, they would be making so much money off the interconnect fees that they could charge to other ISPs, like the Comcast that have to plug into their backbone, or whomever that has to transmit that data. But also there's the actual economic impact that having that connectivity be out there, like where the land is so cheap, right? Where you can get like acres by the penny. If there was proper fiber ran there, you would have Amazons and stuff like that moving their data centers and warehouses there, which causes extra economic activity, and also causes you to be the one that profits the most, because those data centers need literally like 400 gigabits worth of bandwidth or more, But anywho, that was a little side tangent. Yeah, so the AT&T C-Band, though, man, seeing impressive speeds for only 40 megahertz. We were seeing.
I think my maximum on that site was like 560.
Oh wow,
560 downlink and 40-50 uplink. Good stuff.
That is very good. Do you think? Here's a question. Since AT&T is getting more focused on the C-Band rollout at this point, do you think that they've kind of decided to change strategies up a little bit and kind of go away from the one-touch policy in order to just kind of do what Verizon's doing and just get it on air? Do you think they kind of changed their core values on that front?
I think they've got it down to a point where they're like, hey, we might have to come back to the site and install this radio or install this antenna or whatever. And I think they're comfortable with it. And I think the crews right now are busy, and they'll just continue to just schedule in the work during those opportunities. So you put, I mean, you know how it works, Dennis. You put in for these permits, they get approved. You get into that window of when you do the upgrade. You do as much as you can. If you have to come back, it's on the permit. You can do the work, the modification. If it's parts, if it's supply, these types of things happen. You're waiting on it. You go back and you install it. And some of these installs, Dennis, like I'm telling you, man, 2 days. 2 days. I drove by the site on Friday, right? It's on my drive home from work. There was nobody there. I came I mean, I don't know. I drove by Monday and I saw gear up there. I came back home on Wednesday from school, from work, and it was turned on. So we're literally talking about from a Friday to the following Wednesday, they had a complete N77 upgrade. And by the way, guys, just above the current N77 position where the antenna, and by the way, it's an antenna with integrated radio, right? So it's one singular piece of hardware with all the power cables and the fiber and all that. Right above it, there's a spot for the next set of gear. That's going to be for the 3.1, or excuse me, the 3.45. They're going to put another 40 megahertz on that. And by the way, everybody is bummed out for whatever reason that AT&T is going to have to do 2 radios and 2 antennas. Don't be. Sites that get 2 radios and 2 antennas get more power. Your signal's actually going to travel further, and it's actually going to be faster. It's going to have more capacity. It's going to be more efficient. So everybody is all bent out of shape about having...
Wait. Rewind a little bit. Rewind.
Yeah.
Explain why having 2 separate...
dedicated power.
Just that
they each get their own... Huh?
It's just that simple. It's just because
it's as simple as that. It's just simple physics. You're getting a dedicated power source. The radios are more efficient. It's 2 instead of 1. Now, not efficient in terms of like cost efficiency, right? But having the better power, the more like having individualized power to each radio and antenna, it's better.
Also, hold up a second. We got to address something. It's the first super sticker of the night coming in from Alternate Reality. He's doing a little cutesy little fox going like, "Good job." So, Alternate Reality, thank you so much, man, for supporting this show. It always does mean a lot, and we definitely appreciate the support. But yeah, you know what else? Kind of say something that I also kind of found surprising, just a smidge. AT&T was already really solid in your market. I'm surprised that AT&T made it a priority to start upgrading your market, and it makes me optimistic that they're going to keep showing Pittsburgh more love, that I might end up seeing some C-Band.
You know why this is good, Dennis? We all thought that AT&T's wireless was on the back burner. Mm-hmm. We all thought they were just going to let T-Mobile just go, and they were going to let Verizon just go. We were all wrong. We have to say it. Everybody say it with me now. We were wrong. Because they are actually doing this. And a lot of people, like I'm guilty. I'm going to eat crow here. I thought AT&T was going to wait until later in the year to start, thinking it was some kind of cost-related thing. We got thrown a curveball from AT&T. AT&T gives us the impressions. They speak at the investor conference. Yeah, we'll get to it. The main thing is fiber. It's true. Their main thing is fiber because they build out fiber crazy. At least around here they have. It's been a huge initiative for them. But they're not putting wireless. They're not treating them like a redheaded stepchild. They just really, really know how important the fiber is to their business. Their core business, they even said it. If you look at every earnings call, every investor conference, we want to be the best broadband company in America. It doesn't say wireless. Yeah, the broadband feeds the wireless. We get it. But they do say we want to be the best broadband company, best home internet provider. So that's their priority. 1A, and then there's, 1B or 2, whatever,
Controversial question. Do you think AT&T staying true to that statement of being the best? Like,
their customer satisfaction rating's pretty high, Dennis. The fiber.
But it's a yes or no, though. Consider, like, do you think it's yes?
Who's better? Who's better, Dennis? Because that's the only way we answer this, is who's better.
Who's better? Pretty much every municipal option that exists in the market.
Okay, and that is not uniform across every municipality.
Like Next Lights of the world.
They only exist in one place.
Okay. How about Utopia?
You're one place in Utah.
Okay. How about
You know,
Google
we
Fiber?
gotta look at this from a national provider standpoint because that's what AT&T is.
How about Google Fiber? Would you count them?
Do we call them national?
I mean, they span across the nation in different states.
They're sprinkled.
I mean,
You know, we just talked about
Is
how AT&T has like 2 billion fiber miles running the country.
CenturyLink national?
How close are they to national? What is national?
That's what I'm asking you. That's why I'm
Ah,
kind of getting smart now. Like, what
like
is?
40 states? I don't
Well,
know.
dude, if that's the case, then the only national providers are your Comcast, your Spectrum, AT&T, and that's it. Like Verizon, by your own definition, wouldn't be a national provider.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I swear to you, Dennis, I will allow that. You are correct, sir. Verizon Fios is not a national broadband provider. They can't be. No way. They don't serve enough places. They don't serve enough people. Yeah, they serve the big markets. You know, PA is a big time place. New York, you know, New Jersey. I mean, come on, man. Those are big markets. But like, what are they doing in Ohio? What are they doing in Michigan? I mean, are they even there in those places? I don't, are they in Florida? I don't even know.
Oh no, they're not in Florida.
Okay, so they're not in Florida. They're not in the Carolinas.
Dude, they're basically only in the Northeast, with the exception of the West
They
Coast because
they
they ran through Vegas.
downsized, right? They gave it up to Frontier.
Frontier, yeah.
So like, you can't. No,
Okay.
nah.
Well, if the only three options for national are Comcast, Spectrum, and AT&T, then by that, that tricks. Yeah, sure, AT&T is best. Look, the reason why I was asking, okay, is because there's one thing that AT&T does that really grinds my gears, okay, and the thing that AT&T does that really grinds my gears is that they don't use an ONT. They use that router that has like a built-in ONT, and you can't use your own. Like, even if you have your own equipment that can accept an SFP plus port 10 gig, you know, the whole works, right?
Right.
They will not release and assign an IP address to your own equipment. You have to go through that router. And I'm not saying that router is bad, because it's not. It's just that really irks me. Like, for as many problems I have with Fios for its various things, I love the fact that I can literally use any router off the shelf without having to do special like mathematics in my head to know if it's.
I really wish I had that, Dennis. I really do. If I had to say that there's one thing that I'm displeased with the service, is just that lack of flexibility. That's it. The uptime, Dennis, impeccable.
You haven't had any outages yet?
Nothing. Nothing. It's been tremendous. I mean, that was the trouble with Cox. It was just couldn't stay up. That's what she said. I'm just saying, couldn't do it, man.
Yeah, Verizon's been pretty solid for me now, but you know I had that 6 months of horror. I will never let that be let down or forgotten. There was 6 months of true terror with Fios, but it's good now. It's been pretty solid.
No, I'm just glad it worked out for you, man. We know that the fiber is the gold standard, and when it runs right, it's the best, man.
Oh, yeah, and you know how much I care about the internet. I literally bought the house based off that decision.
Bro, I mean, we live in a world that is completely connected. I get it. You don't have to explain it to me. I understand. I mean, as a school
I
teacher,
took it to a whole other level, Sneed. You don't understand. Like,
no, but Dennis, you're not the only one. There are other people that will prioritize the connectivity.
Yeah, but let me just say real quick.
They'll take a lesser home to get the fiber.
Listen, but let me say it real quick so everybody in the audience can understand. I literally had an addendum in the purchasing contract that if I could not get Verizon Fios installed at the home, I would not buy the house. There was literally an addendum in writing. If Fios could not be installed, I'm allowed to back out of the deal. Like, that's how important it was for me. So when people get like funny and saying like all he talks about is home internet, all he cares about is home internet, look, that's how much I cared. Anyway, I see some comments coming in, and we got a little bit of time. I think it'd be fun to do Q&A together, because I don't know if you ever really do that with your show. So if you see a comment, just yell. I'll highlight it, and we can answer it. If not, I'll pick them out as they come.
All right, let's hit James Herrera.
Time check.
So Verizon prices going up from what I've read. Yeah, buddy. The way that they've done it is they have done it with a fee increase. The administrative fee has become a telecommunication recovery fee of some sort. It's gone from like $1.30 something to $3.30 something cents. It's like $2 more per line. So yeah, that's a thing.
So wait, real quick, who's more expensive now, AT&T or Verizon?
It was Verizon before, and it's Verizon now.
Okay, because I remember AT&T. I think it was what, $8 or $10 or something that they're.
For any of the older plans, the shared legacy plans, it went up $6 on a line, $12 on any multi-line account
Gotcha. And Verizon's just a flat like 2 or something
to
per
every line. That's it.
every line.
Every voice line on the
No,
whole
no
biller. Yeah, yeah.
avoiding it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Um, let's see. Anything sticking out for you, friend?
Let's see here. When is that Xfinity Mobile video review coming from the SMT? Soon. Got to do some testing. I got to activate the SIM and put it through its run. I'll
Well, it's
probably
already activated, so you just got to pop it in
just
the
got to put
phone.
it into the phone. So I'll
Yeah, I already poured the number, activated everything.
awesome.
You literally just
I'll
have to
probably
put it
do
in
it
the phone.
tomorrow. I'll get into a phone. I'll start testing over the
Dude, why
weekend.
don't you do it right now on stream? Do it right now on
Dude,
stream.
my other two phones are in the car.
That's fine. Go run in the car. I'll man it down. Go grab a phone, put it in there, okay, and then you'll do a speed test on stream.
So I'm gonna put it in an iPhone 12 Pro.
Yeah,
I
you
should be able to
gave me the
connect all the
iPhone
bands.
12 Pro Max, and I can text you I can send you a screenshot with the IMEI, the one you need to put it in.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Also, what's this?
I think some people are coming in late, Dennis.
People
We're
are coming
talking
in
about
late.
the US mobile plans. We covered it.
We did. I think our standpoint was like, you were like, yeah, this is expected, and mine was like, yeah, I'm a little salty because they stopped including taxes and fees, but overall, like,
You 100% are wearing the consumer advocate hat. The
yeah.
consumer advocate beanie, right? I was wearing the business owner beanie at the time.
Which is a good dynamic, though, considering you are a business owner and I'm just a straight up consumer.
Right. Yeah, so we kind of get those different perspectives, and I just like the guy. I think he's transparent, honest,
I love Ahmed.
and
Listen,
I think that's why we both can respect kind of what's developed out of it. You know.
listen. I think that if I had the opportunity to talk to Ahmed and he explained it to me, maybe I would understand a little bit more. I still feel like I would fight back and be like, well, you could have, like I said, just put this up to 55, whatever. But he would probably be like, but our sales show that blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there's reasons. And I'm like, I'll put it to you this way. When we look at the competition, US Mobile's still leading in like everything I care about. Security is impeccable with them. Customer service, pretty freaking solid. The app, one of the best. The only two things that really could use some work, though, for me personally, because I had to interact with them when pointing those numbers out, is one, I wish they had a button to save the chat conversation you have when you talk to them on the website. And two, when it comes to porting out numbers from US Mobile, without fail, they get delayed. And it requires a manual intervention. There's no way to talk to the port transfer team. Sneed, that happened with your line specifically. Your line, everything about your line, from putting in that phone for Xfinity Mobile to trying to port it, everything that could go wrong went wrong with your line, Sneed.
I was like, man, this poor guy's trying to make it happen. He's going through it.
Oh man, dude, it was so rough. It literally came down to like Carlos had to freaking like send an email. They couldn't even do it to chat or anything. It had to be like a freaking email. It was just so rough. But anyway, I sent you a text with the IMEI of the phone that you should be using. If you want to go grab that, I will man down the show because I desperately want to see you run a speed test with that new line because you have 5G UW at your place, right?
Not in the lower level. On the upper level, I probably could pick it up.
Gotcha. We'll still grab it anyway.
I can get like band 66, band. No, I don't even get band 66 down here. I get band 2, band 5, band 13 in the lower level.
We'll go grab it.
I'll get like 50 megabits. It's fine.
We'll go grab it. I'm not letting you off the hook. You got to get this done right now.
What the heck, Dennis? I gotta find the SIM card.
You don't have the SIM card?
It's on. Maybe it's upstairs on the table. Maybe.
Fine. Okay. How about this? You have until midnight tonight to get her done, and we want to see a freaking Twitter post.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember what your Twitter handle is, but people should follow that.
At Sneed Tech.
At Sneed Tech. Okay, and you can at me on it. On a side note, so Some Skychunk said they saw a post on Reddit about their API allowing for requests of private info that got fixed. Skychunk, can you link more details about this? Because I'd be very curious.
What is this about?
Apparently, it's for US Mobile's app when I was talking about US Mobile security. Apparently, this is a thing, which is interesting. Also, what's up, Janelle? You're back from the UK, which is awesome. Glad you had a vacation. He says you can get an MVNO prepaid plan for €20, which is approximately $20 a month, with unlimited everything, including 5G data and hotspot. And he's asking why in the USA, with our larger economies of scale, is the pricing so high for plans. Sneed, do you have a thought on that?
It says here unlimited everything, including 5G data and hotspot. Okay, so a lot of our plans do too. How fast is your hotspot? Right? Because a lot of our plans will have like 10 gigs of high speed hotspot, 20 gigs, 50 gigs of high speed hotspot. And then after that, it gets throttled to either like 2G or 3G speed, which is like half a megabit or 1 megabit, I guess, if you're lucky.
600 kilobits per second tends to be where hotspots want to hover, and then 2G speeds is like 128 kilobits.
Yeah, so like we have plans that are like that. You know, I'm not sure if that's how they do things in the UK, but I can tell you I've traveled overseas and I've, tried multiple companies in multiple countries, and they don't really have fast unlimited internet. They have unlimited internet. I wouldn't call it fast. I wouldn't call it high speed. In most instances, most of the connections are like sub 20 megabits, sub 10 megabits.
Well,
It's
how
like
about that?
HSPA, I think. Like that's the kind of experience it is.
Well, he said it's true unlimited hotspot, no throttling, or she. But how about that price point, Sneed? Let's address the actual pricing issue.
Oh, phenomenal.
No. He's asking why is the pricing so high here versus other places?
The only thing I can think of is the investment by these companies. They spend a lot more money here in the US. The networks are much larger. We have like 3 national providers, mobile network operators, and none of them can actually properly blanket our country. Meanwhile, in places like Germany and places like the UK, the fiber is everywhere, right? It's a much smaller land space and landmass. I just think it's easier to build a network. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's just less space to cover. Therefore, your dollars, they stretch a little bit better. If you take for example, Dish, new entrant, they're going to try to spend $10 billion to build a network. How much of the country do you think they're going to cover?
Not much, but I'll give the honest answer now. I just wanted to see what you would say. And the answer is something along the lines of what you're talking about with the network, but there's something more important to bring up. Most other places, the actual core infrastructure for the network is being shared between the network providers. So they don't even have to cover the whole country half the time. It's usually like, hey, we'll put up our spectrum over here, you put yours over here, and we all have access. It's just like, it is what it is. Prime example of that is in South Korea, where they have literally like 2 major operators, one of them being LG as a fun fact, and I think the other one was like SKC or something. And they literally their customers all use the same spectrum. It's just shared. Like everybody uses the same stuff. So it comes
and
down
that reduces
to
overhead and it reduces capex, right?
Yeah, it comes down to basically we have 3 companies independently building their own networks and having to bid for spectrum instead of just being equally being provided by the government. Like in other places, like they actually evenly split the government. Like the government actually evenly splits the spectrum in ways that actually make sense. Whereas over here, it's a crapshoot. Just look at the LT bands. You got AT&T doing band 2 10 megahertz carrier aggregation just to get 20 megahertz worth instead of just having a whole contiguous 20 megahertz worth of band 2. Yeah, it's just not fun. And also too, there's a certain level of like there's a lot of concentration in the US and there's not a lot of regulation when it comes to actually pricing. So the one major competitor that we did have that was making pricing go down or keeping it low was Sprint, and they got gobbled up. And while Dish is a new incumbent, they just do not have the market presence yet to drive pricing down. Will that happen in the future? Maybe. I'm a lot more optimistic about Dish than I was 2 years ago. but it's
I
all good.
will. I think another thing, Dennis, that we can't forget to mention this is these carriers now throw in a bunch of stuff we may or may not need.
Mm.
You know, like the to sweeten the pot. You know, when I was overseas and I was looking at phone plans and all that, it was strictly phone service. Like they weren't trying to sell you on a Disney bundle, you know, and stuff like that. It felt more no frills, no nonsense, connected. I remember, I think it was a college friend of mine from India who told me that using certain apps would get you data. You know, like you'd be subjected to their ads, you'd be exposed to all the different, you know, commercials, you know, while using these different platforms and applications. And that would fund your data replenishing. You know, like that goes on in Asia. So like people are like, yeah, I'm willing to pay $5, $10 for my mobile internet.
Hey, let
And
me let me ask you a funny question, man, because I remember this being a thing too. I can't remember who it was that developed the tech, but basically it would play like advertisements when you were making a call like to dial, it would play like an ad.
yeah.
I want to ask you something real quick. If no, seriously,
I,
if you
I,
could get like Verizon Get More plan, I'm talking like the creme de la creme plan for like $35 for a single line, but you had to listen to ads when you called people and you had to watch it like a 30-second unskippable ad once per hour on your phone, would you do it?
I would want the ability to run the phone for ads when I'm not doing anything with it. And I would want to build equity. Like I'm sitting there like at my desk working and I'll just run the phone, let the ads roll for like 2 hours and have 2 hours of equity. Like whatever, so I would be ad free for like a week because I already gobbled up 2 hours of their dumb ads. I'm not joking, Dennis. I would let that sucker run while I'm sleeping, dog, on the charger and build up a month of equity. Then I'll do it. But if I actually have to be exposed to those ads in order to get just a discount, man, you know how annoying that is? I mean, I'm used to like YouTube Premium now. I can't watch ads anymore, dog.
Well, how about the calling one? Like, so you know when you call
Oh,
somebody, it
calling
goes,
is no non-negotiable. I cannot have
hear
ads
me
keep
out,
me from a call.
hear me out, hear me out. You know when you call, right? It goes ring, ring, ring. Well, instead of ring, 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 it would be like a little ad, like, check out Best Phone Plans, the home for the best savings and mobile plans. And oh, hello, Sneed. What's up, buddy? Like it would do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, is there going to be an exception for 911 calls? I mean, because I ain't trying to have no ad while I'm trying to connect to urgent care, dog. You know what I'm saying? I got it. Hey, do you remember the Beavers that did the hospital at Rocco's Modern Life? You know, they used to do the paramedic,
Oh,
right?
so very vaguely.
They'd roll the guy on the gurneys and stuff and all that. Like, well, bro, what if it's a situation where people are hurting, man, and you got to listen to an ad to get to 911? Come on.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. Call 911 and it's just like an ad talking about like heart attack medicine or something like that. Well, not hilarious, but
I don't want a premium package. Connect me to the emergency room.
uh what if an MVNO did that though? Like, you think that would be a creative idea to get MVNO pricing down?
I do it on a secondary line, not on a primary line.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Dude, Rise said that in prepaid plan in India is $4. Yeah, that sounds about right. Although I will say in India right now, I know that they started passing a law that like really messes with like VPN companies. So like I'd feel really weird
Their
about.
services are slow though, Dennis.
Well, there's that too. Well, they do have a couple like super cities of like New York scale where I know that they have like actual like proper
Oh,
LTE.
infrastructure is good, yeah.
But like yeah, generally speaking, it's slow. I mean, in India, literally mobile phones is their primary way of interacting with the internet. Like
They got a lot of
traditional
users, man.
traditional like wired internet doesn't really exist to the same scale.
Last I checked, they have 1.5 billion people. Is that
Some,
still the case?
something like that, yeah.
Oh, we have we have 0.34 billion people. 0.34. So they have over 1 billion more people than we do. They have like 5 New Yorks. We have 1 New York. Right? Like Mumbai. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we talk about Mumbai for a minute? like, like we don't have a Mumbai here, and Delhi, and dude, they have megalopolises. Is that a word? Megalopolis, dude, huge, enormous cities, man.
Hey, well, Sneed, you're always really well in the know, and you're like posting like 10 news videos a day. Do you have a spicy topic that you want to talk about on this channel that you can't otherwise talk about like you normally would?
I like something I normally wouldn't talk about.
Just a topic. I don't care
Well,
if you're.
actually, you know what? Maybe I could serve this as a primer.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop a video tomorrow, probably in the afternoon. The Google Pixel 6a. It kind of is messed up. There's going to be a Verizon variant. There is going to be an AT&T and likely T-Mobile will be the same variant. There's going to be a Google variant, which is going to be essentially the same as the AT&T T-Mobile variant. Verizon is the only one that is going to have millimeter wave enabled. I live in a millimeter wave market, and it's a good build here, and it's only getting better. I'm not going to own any phones without millimeter wave moving forward. Hey, I have it here. This is not, Biloxi, Mississippi. Like this is Cleveland, Ohio. Municipality wise, they let anything happen. There's fiber everywhere. Nodes can go wherever they're allowed. I want a millimeter wave phone. I'm gonna have to get the Verizon variant. I can't get the Google variant, which is disappointing. Like it doesn't exist. They're literally just gonna make it with the antennas just for Verizon. So
Yeah.
I'm
So,
pissed.
so
You
I have
know,
a take on that too. You mentioned living in a good millimeter wave market. I would argue that at this point in the 5G game, regardless if you live in a millimeter wave market, the phone has to have millimeter wave antennae because here's the scoop. The places that have millimeter wave right now are the places that need it the most. We're talking football stadiums, we're talking Las Vegas Strip, we're talking places where no amount of midband is going to possibly be able to handle all the traffic that's being generated in those tight areas. And those are the times where you're like, yeah, I'm glad I got a 5G phone that supports all the bands. And we also know for a fact, by the way, that millimeter wave, specifically with Verizon, it's coming. It's coming real well. Like, Denver is just covered in it. Your place is just covered in it. New York has it all over the place. Pittsburgh, it was never really a 5G city, but there is some rooftop sites that get some pretty impressive range for it. And not having that makes a night and day experience difference with a network. And shucks, even T-Mobile's deploying millimeter wave in Vegas. Like, it's a. You just made a shot. Did I just surprise you?
they are.
They are.
Oh, okay.
I mean, dude, when I was there, it was like right in front of like the Caesars, bro. And then there was also the T-Mobile Stadium, and they did that major build for the Super Bowl.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm shocked.
yeah. I was gonna say, look, millimeter wave is a critical part of a phone. To not have it is kind of stupid at this point. I mean,
Two
what's the
years ago, 2 years ago, you had a leg to stand on if you said maybe it's not time, don't need it. Uh, if you're in a millimeter wave market, it's a slam dunk. You get a phone with it. If you're trying to future proof a phone, 2 years out, you should probably have it. I mean,
like, what's the
Dennis,
cost difference?
there's gonna come a time where every Costco is gonna have a millimeter wave node in it.
Dude, it's already happening with Walmart's.
Right. This is gonna be a thing. Like Walmart's, all that. Like they are going to completely offload mid-band traffic. These are some of the things that I feel very strongly about. I have conviction. Millimeter wave is going to be the saving grace of mid-band channels until we get more auctions. Like millimeter wave is going to save the day in a lot of high leverage situations. And it's not just stadiums. I think stadiums are mandatory. There needs to be like 5 nodes. You need one out of each entrance, exit, whatever, the main where people are loading up. And you need access points in the inside. You need them pointed at seats, and at least in a trifecta. hitting like three sides of the and just as many people as you, and still you're gonna need a DAS. Still, like, come on, man, you're talking about 20,000 people in arena who are all doing data intensive tasks when it comes to like video. There's people live streaming, man. They're doing TikToks and they're sending snaps and like that stuff. Yeah, I get it. It's only like 480p or whatever, but it's all the people doing it. It's a collective. That's a lot of bandwidth needs.
Airports are another example of
Huge.
millimeter, like
Huge. And no interference. No millimeter wave is interference free. Nothing else is functioning at that. I mean, what, the radio altimeters are closer to C-band, right? Like there's no fear of any of that stuff.
On a side note, Stacy Ransby is just a little curious. Does the Galaxy S21 Ultra have millimeter wave?
Sure does. I remember testing it. It was pretty good when I had it.
Yep, it does. And I think everything except for I think all the Samsung flagships, with the exception of the S20 line with the base S20, had millimeter wave. The base S20 was one of those finicky examples where you had to get the Verizon
version had it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that. There was a question from Myriad.
Lucky said, "Stop making me consider Verizon at Dennis." This is funny, Sneed. It's funny. I always get called the AT&T guy. Now I'm saying something positive about the company I hate, Verizon, and people are like, "Yeah, stop trying to sell me on Verizon." Like,
hey,
look, you got to pick the network that works best for y'all. I'll just say this. I don't think I ever really ragged on Verizon for having a bad wireless network. I will also just say that a couple years ago, if you talked to me and you asked me what I thought about their network, I would tell you that there's lots of coverage. It's reliable, but reliably slow. That it's the truth. That being said, C-band is the thing that Verizon has needed for like a decade at this point. Like, it is that kind of game changer for Verizon. And I would still say, if you're an AT&T customer, which I know you are, Lucky, there's no reason to switch to Verizon. AT&T is solid. I think Sneed will agree with me on that. The network has capacity. Anyway, you were saying someone else's comment that you...
I think this one was from Maria Joseph.
Maria Joseph? Oh.
Why is there a millimeter wave tax?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what is the cost difference, first off, for the millimeter wave Verizon version versus the stock Google version?
The antennas, legit, in like the bill of materials, is $38. The Verizon tax, the millimeter wave tax, like end user paying the price, is $50 additional.
Dude, it's worth it. $50 difference is worth it.
I mean,
you're paying for the whole network when you pay your monthly bill. You might as well have access to the whole freaking network.
I've had that conversation with people fighting to keep their 3G devices on, fighting to have their non-VoLTE phones on. And I'm thinking to myself, you pay your bill every month to fight to keep a piece of legacy tech on the network, and you're paying for all these upgrades and you don't want them? I mean, even just the bands. You know what I'm saying, Dennis? Like, I'm pushing people to at least get an N77 device, at least get a band 48 device, so that way you can get access to an additional 60, 80, 100, 120 megahertz of spectrum that is on air and millimeter wave if it's in your market. We're talking about over 1,000 megahertz of spectrum in some instances, right? Depending on their license holdings. But like, they've got 800 megahertz on air. And now we're starting to see millimeter wave uplink carrying the mail, 200 megahertz of it. We're seeing 3, 4, 500 megabits per second uplink.
Yeah, on the topic of phones, real quick, Sneed, I was having the same type of fight back when Band 14 and Band 30 were things with AT&T. I was literally fighting with people being like, you need to get this. You need to get a new phone because of this. Band 14 for the coverage, Band 30 for the capacity. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it sure does. The Band 30 on that MIMO reach, incredible speeds. It's literally going to add an additional 100 megabits of bandwidth to your connection.
Also, I remember what I also wanted to say. I like watching a channel. It's called 91 Tech. he does this really cool series where like he'll review like older phones. Like he just uploaded one a few hours ago where it was like the iPhone X, the OG iPhone X in 2022. And he's like, is it worth it? Well, battery life might be rough and camera. And that's always the thing I see a lot of reviewers talk about. Battery life and camera. And I'm like, I'm sure the camera's fine and the battery's probably a little shot because, but you can
It's an
replace
older
it,
phone, right?
whatever. It's the bands. Like the iPhone X was using the Intel modem, the wireless bands.
No,
Like
some of the 10 models
if you got
had a
the
Qualcomm.
Verizon or Sprint one, you were
Yeah,
good. But even then, iOS throttled that performance, if you remember,
it
Sneed.
did. Yeah, they got it
So,
caught up in that. Yeah,
but
that's
like,
true.
think about it for a second. There are a good chunk of people I would say out there that still have like iPhone X's out there, right? What bands do you think they're missing, Sneed? They got to be missing band 48,
Which
right?
carrier? Which carriers?
Let's
You
talk
know
about
that.
all the carriers. Let's just
Okay.
break it down real quick.
All right. So T-Mobile's got band 71.
Missing
I think
that.
you probably got that in that phone.
No, you're missing band 71 and iPhone X.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Let me give you perspective, Steve.
So
iPhone
you're
X
not
came
getting
out.
600 megahertz. You're not
iPhone X
getting.
came out 5 years ago, just to give you perspective.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Band
That's gonna be
71
right
didn't
there.
come around until about like Band 71 deployment didn't really come around until like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but they were ready to auction in 2016. So
Well,
if it was gonna be in that generation iPhone or the following one.
I'm looking at the technical specifications now. Let's see if I can double check myself and I was right. Yeah. So here you go. Here's
So
the
they
band list.
so they needed the 10R generation,
They need the XS generation because
the
here.
XS generation would have had the 600
Yeah,
megahertz.
Sneed here. Let me
Okay.
just share my screen instead of me trying to read it to you here. I'll just share my screen. Hold on.
Okay.
I got you, fam. We're smart. We're smart up in here. We can use technology. We
There
got
you go.
this. All right. Can you use? Oh no, you can't see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Zoom in, buddy.
I am doing that right now.
Yes. Yes.
All right. There you go. So if you look, we're missing band 71, my friend.
Yeah. It's good not there.
And
All right.
since band 41 is not even on LTE pretty much anymore, you're missing out on all that capacity.
Yeah, that's all gonna go NR. Um you're basically gonna be on band 2, band 12, band 13,
Band 4.
band 66. I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen with band 26? I don't even know. Uh it does have band 30 though.
It does.
Shockingly. Yeah, shockingly. And
But no
I mean,
14.
yeah, no band 14 that predates the first net contract for AT&T. No band 48, no LAA, no millimeter wave, no 5G of any sort. You're missing some of the capacitive parts of modern day networking.
Can I ask a question to Sneed?
Yeah, man.
If someone has an iPhone X, do you think they can keep rocking it without noticing too much of a difference as far as net coverage and net experience?
Well, you know
Or
what's actually happened, Dennis?
what's that?
Is now with so many people being on those newer bands, they could probably continue to use those phones and like still have a decent experience, meaning they wouldn't be experiencing buffering, watching video and stuff like that. But there will come a point where like those network elements are completely neglected. Like I can tell you guys right now, LTE on T-Mobile is not good. In my opinion, it's the worst. Verizon's LTE is basically flawless here. AT&T's LTE here is legendary. It's like so fast and just this massive build of capacity. I would encourage you to get off of T-Mobile LTE because all of their assets are getting sunk into the NR side. It makes 0 sense to be on T-Mobile's LTE.
I'm gonna throw
And
something so controversial at you. I don't actually think T-Mobile's LT was not their strong suit, but I actually don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. In fact,
it's
in
bad here.
in fact, in fact, T-Mobile's LT is actually a more stable experience than their NR at the moment because
Yeah, that's in Pittsburgh, man.
this whole NR standalone thing, man, it anytime I get on standalone, bro, I'm ready to throw my phone at the wall, dude. It's that
Well,
bad, dude.
forget the standalone. Let's just talk NSA, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay, so eventually we'll all be on standalone 5G, but I'm just saying, like I have T-Mobile's LT at my house. It's an old Sprint site. It's trash. Buffering video, dropped calls, horrible sound quality on the calls. Text messages have to be resent. It's terrible. If I don't know why, I'm only a mile and a half from the other upgraded site, but I can't get N71 reliably at my house. The N41 doesn't reach. People saying that they get it from 2, 3 miles. I wish. I'm a mile and a half and I can't get it. It's like 1.6 miles. So my only concern is that we're not getting reach, but in some places people are getting it. And in that instance, if you've got upgraded sites to 5G, you got to get on a 5G device and get a plan that works for you.
I agree. Uh, the only time I don't agree is when it's the standalone. The
The
standalone is
standalone is it's a joke. It's the standalone's slower and less capacitive than the non-standalone.
screw the
Your
capacity
uplink,
part of it. It's
no,
literally
Dennis,
less
no,
reliable.
because the uplink matters when you're doing like video calls. And dude, I was on a freaking FaceTime audio call with you, and it dropped, and I was like literally a quarter mile from a site.
Sneed, do you know how much when I'm connected to standalone? Do you want to know what my upload speed is with T-Mobile? I can be right by the site. Do you want to know what my upload speed is?
Our upload here is fast, man.
No,
I know
I'm
yours
talking
is.
about on standalone, not NSA, just
Oh,
standalone.
standalone 3.
Bro, I can't even crack 1.
That's crazy,
Dude. It's 5. All they have is 5 megahertz of N71. That's it on standalone.
Yeah, it's not good.
On NSA though, it's like 100. It's
Yeah,
like 110, something
yeah,
like
I get.
that,
Yeah, the NSA uplink's great.
dude. But okay, anyway, so this phone, you're saying you could probably let it ride unless it's T-Mobile, in which case you're like upgrade immediately.
Yeah, because if you look, well, you're missing a lot with Verizon too. There's no band 48. There's no NR stuff, so no C-band, no millimeter wave. And then for AT&T, this is definitely a no-go. I mean, you're missing band 14. That's huge. So
Okay. Well, I have another iPhone for you. This one is a much more newer one, and it was fairly popular from what I remember. Can you guess which one I'm talking about?
the 11.
Indeed, the 11. The 11. And I'm not talking about the Pro here because the Pro actually had 4x4 MIMO. I'm talking about the more
Man,
affordable
iPhone really
11.
played people, man. People, in order to get the better MIMO tech, you had to get the Pro version of the phone.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to know your thoughts on the iPhone 11. So here's the band support page for you.
All right, let's take a look at it here. All right, so you got band 48, that's Verizon. You got band 46, if that's a thing for you. It does have the band 41 for T-Mobile/Sprint. Let's see here. What else is going on? Band 29, band 30, that's AT&T. You got the band 71. You got band 14. This one's obviously just, it's got more bands. Much better in support. The MIMO, though, that's stupid. The Wi-Fi, that's stupid. Because
Well, the
all this stuff is
Wi-Fi,
on.
hold up, pause. To this day, Apple still does 2x2 MIMO on Wi-Fi.
I'll never
Continue.
get it, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid. That yeah, it's fine. I mean, you could rock that for another year. But
What network
again,
would
there's
you
no
put it on?
NR, there's no 5G, so
Yeah, but what network? Like, if you have this phone, what carrier should you be on?
the legendary Verizon LTE network, the AT&T legendary LTE network. I mean, it the only thing that's in order for you, I'm telling you, Dennis, to really get something good out of the T-Mobile network, you got to be on a 5G phone.
I
You know,
agree with
there's
you. I agree
all
with
the
you.
spectrum's there, you know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I was just focusing on standalone and having a little rant. No, I agree with you. I feel like this is the AT&T phone 100%. Even Verizon, like, this is rough because Verizon very much so heavily relies on MIMO tech to eke out that little bit of extra capacity on those very skinny channels that they have on the LT network. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
So I think this is the AT&T phone. Do you have a fun phone that we should look at? Maybe like maybe a fun one to talk about? Or maybe in the chat if you guys have a comment, do you guys Guys in the chat, is there a phone that you would like us to look at and give a recommendation on as far as like this is the network that you should use type of deal? Rye said Google Pixel 6. Okay. We
I
can do
love
that.
mine, man. I love my Pixel 6 Pro.
Pixel 6 band support. I wonder if he's referring to the base one though, because like the base one didn't have millimeter wave support from what I recall. Unless you got the Verizon variant, right?
Me, I have the Google variant.
Yeah, so let's look at the base Pixel 6. I don't remember if it had millimeter wave support or not. Yada yada yada. Here we go. All right, here we go. So here's the Pixel 6. There's a couple models here for Japan only. Well, that's an interesting one. Which one was the Verizon variant? It has to be this one. Yeah, because this one's missing millimeter wave. Okay. Let's focus on this one then. This is the GSM one. You looking? This is the GSM one here.
Yeah, the type is small.
It's still tiny for you. My bad. I can zoom in.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, there we go.
I'm old.
All right, so Sneed, here you go. It's the non-millimeter wave one because the millimeter wave one was only for Verizon.
All right, so you got band 14, so you're good for AT&T there. You got 29 and 30, good for AT&T. You got the LT for 41. You got the 46 and the 48. That's the unlicensed stuff and licensed stuff. You got band 71. You're good. Sub 6 5G. Okay, so this has N12, N14, N5, N2, N30. I don't see. Okay, so we got N41, we got N48, N77, and N78 because that's going to be their C-Band international when you roam, international roaming. It's good. It's got everything. Yeah, it's got it all.
Would you put this, despite the fact that it doesn't have millimeter wave, would you still put it on Verizon?
Yeah, you could put it on Verizon. Yeah, it would still be a great experience. I think Verizon's C-Band is really good. Their CBRS is good too.
I actually saw a really good one. It was for the Galaxy S9, which is a very old phone. One that I still actually have, the S9 Plus. Band support. If I remember correctly,
it was a legend though, Dennis. It was a legendary phone.
If I remember correctly, it does have band 71. I know that for a fact.
I think it was the first generation of that, wasn't it, Dennis?
I believe it was. No, I think the S8 might have.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I can't remember, dude. It's so hard for me to remember. Let's check Swappa's band. Ooh, this is an interesting layout. I don't like that. Let's find something different here. GSM Arena. How trustworthy is this one? Okay. I hope this is the right version. Do we know which one's the? Oh, it's this one. This is the US version. Okay. Here we go. Trying to find the spec sheet for the bands. One sec. Network. I need to expand this. There we go. All right, Control Plus. There we go. Can you see that decently?
Yeah, there you go, Dennis. Now I can see it.
Okay, there we go. So this phone has 2, 4, 5, 12, 14.
Wow, it's got band 14. Okay.
Yeah, it got band 14.
There you go.
It came out in
got
29.
It's got 30. It's got 41, 46.
No,
it doesn't have
though.
Doesn't have CBRS.
Yeah. Oh snap! Hold up. There's something Preston that we have to address. Alex Tech coming in with the $5 super chat. He says, "I love Verizon Fios. It's his favorite cable company, and he would recommend it if you have it in your area." Alex, thank you for the super chat. And yeah, Fios is solid. Sneed?
So the band support, you've got, look at the aggregation there. That thing was able to do 6 carrier aggregation We never even got there. We never like which carrier ever did 6 carrier aggregation?
Um,
AT&T maybe?
AT&T's definitely done it, and Verizon's doing it now, but with CBRS. So, yeah, the only carrier where this would make sense is AT&T.
Yeah, because I mean the what T-Mobile does 3 carrier aggregation. Verizon does well. I guess it all depends because Verizon will do a ton with band 48. They'll do like 20 by 20 by 20, and then do like band 13 and band 2 and band 66. So I guess they're pushing it. I guess with like 5 carrier aggregation. I guess I never really thought about it like that.
But
I don't see. Oh, there it is. It does have band 71. See that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, if you're gonna say, is this for a certain carrier, you got to have their coverage bands. It's never been an issue for like Verizon because band 13's been on like all the phones. But like for T-Mobile, they added band 71 later, so you got to make sure that phone is like compatible. And I think for AT&T, band 14's a must. You know what I mean? So, and hey, look, band 12 on AT&T is 15 megahertz here. I don't know what it is in Pittsburgh, Dennis. And I think a lot of places it's probably 15 megahertz. That
what
might
band?
be
I'm sorry.
enough. Band 12.
Band 12.
It's either 10 or 15 for most people, I think.
I'm trying to remember. Why do I want to say? I want to say it's more here.
Oh,
I
it might be. It's possible, Dennis. Here it's 15 megahertz. So if you have band 14, it's nice, but it's not mandatory because they got a pretty deep channel in 15 megahertz here.
I know they have 10 megahertz N5 on air here.
10 megahertz N5. Okay, so that means Verizon doesn't have any.
No, Verizon has 10 megahertz as well.
Oh, so you guys don't have like what's it called? Like US Cellular. Nobody else has any 700 or 850.
No, yeah, it's split up between AT&T and Verizon. The
Yeah.
only other person that had 850, I think, was Sprint. They only had like 5 megahertz of it.
So here's the difference between the old Androids and the old iPhones. The old Androids actually are more band compatible. They just don't have 5G. The old iPhones are actually LTE deficient and 5G deficient. But that's the way the iPhones have always been, man. They always take forever to get all the carrier bands. When do you think we're going to get a phone with Dish N70? Not
With
this
Dish
year.
N70, probably.
Probably next year.
Yeah, it probably won't be, and yeah, it probably won't be till next year's iPhone if we're lucky.
So they're, Dish is going to be a carrier that's going to rely heavily upon like entry level, mid level, Motorola's, Samsung's, TCLs. What's the Soleros? They're going to be the ones providing those types of phones.
Yeah, I think Motorola will be big for them. I think Samsung will be big for them, and that's about it. Those are the
And they
only
got
two
that partnership now with Samsung.
Yeah, there's the only two
Yeah.
manufacturers I could think of. Apple, yeah, Apple's always like a year behind. They did that with T-Mobile, and then they're gonna probably do that with Dish. So iPhone 14, I doubt will have support for Dish's bands.
The
Which is a
Galaxies probably
shame.
will. The Galaxies will, though.
Maybe. I don't know. Google's also been a little wonky when it comes to supporting carriers, although it could also be equally that the carriers have been wonky with supporting Google. So hard to say on that front. I'm just looking to see if there's been any other
Such
phones.
a great phone, man. I used to love my S9 Plus.
Do you want to? Okay, I see Aguardo came with the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, so we should definitely look at that one for sure. But there's one other phone I want to look at prior to that, actually. And that's the Galaxy S8 because we were talking about the Galaxy S8, and I honestly couldn't remember if it supported Band 71 or not. So I want to just look at that real quick.
It might.
Galaxy S8 band support. What did I click on? Was it? Yeah, it was GSM Arena. That's what I clicked on. Okay, and then it's already expanded for me. Perfect. And then, do we remember? I think it was 950U was the US model, I believe, right?
Yeah. The unlocked model.
Oh yeah, USA unlocked. Oh right, I forgot this one had an AT&T specific one too, and all that other stuff. All right, well here's unlocked.
Some of these had the Exynos processors, I remember.
No. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, you're right. No, not in the U.S. though. That was the Galaxy S7, Sneed. Galaxy S7 was the one that came with the Exynos.
Yeah.
But okay, here's the band support for this puppy. And yeah, we're missing band 71. We're missing a lot of
So
bands.
the S9 would have been the generation that introduced it.
Yeah, because we're missing 71. We're missing band 14. We're missing. Are we missing 66?
No way.
Yeah, I don't see
What?
66 on here.
Huh. That would have been the generation after the Spectrum auction in 2015.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
Well, this phone came out in 2017, though. That's the thing.
Oh no, then it has band 66. That's a misprint.
Okay.
It's got to be a misprint.
I hope it's a
If it has
misprint.
band 4, it has band 66.
Oh, by default, that's how it works.
I mean, yeah, it's just not going to be any other
This
way.
supported 5-way carrier aggregation, by the way.
I'm telling you, man, like old Androids had some tech. Old iPhones, even relatively new iPhones were missing a lot of stuff for a long time.
I'm just clicking on the
Certifications
different
and
versions
bands
here
and
to
stuff.
see. That's okay. That has to be a mistake because here T-Mobile's version supports 66. So it was
All
a mis-
versions, all US versions will have band 66.
Yeah, it does. I clicked on the T-Mobile one just for posterity, and it's just that for some reason they mistyped. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE that came in from Aguardo, because that was sort of Samsung's budget phone, or budget flagship phone.
Came out at the end of that model year, right?
Yeah, it was kind of an interestingly positioned device, but I don't even know if it sold that well. Cause like, why get that when you could just get the regular Galaxy S20? Wait, does T-Mobile still sell?
I think it was just the price. You could have gotten the FE for like $100 or $200 less.
I love that Apple keeps it up on their official site, but for like Androids, I have to go to like the middle of nowhere to find what I want. Does this not give me the option? It's not giving me the option. Okay, I see how they split it. USA, international. Okay, we just have to keep it in mind. Hopefully you can kind of see that, Sneed.
Yes, I can. Okay, so I see band 71, I see band 46. I don't see band 48. I see 14, I see 30, I see 29. So you're good for AT&T. You are good for T-Mobile. Well, kind of. No, but T-Mobile doesn't do much CBRS. You're going to like if you're in a market with CBRS Verizon, that kind of stinks. You won't be able to pick it up. But the rest of it's pretty good, I suppose. It's fine.
Yeah, it's decent. The 5G support is a little eh. It's only really got 41. I can't see any other 5G bands that matter here. Do you? Oh, I was looking at international. Sorry. 41
Yeah,
and
so it
71.
depends on the phone. If this was the Verizon model, you'd be getting millimeter wave.
Okay, it did come with millimeter wave. On the
Yeah.
FE?
Otherwise, you're just gonna get all the sub 6 stuff. Like it's got N41. It's got all the DSS.
Wait, are you sure for the FE? Because this is not the same as the regular S20. I don't think the FE came with millimeter wave support even for Verizon's model.
Oh, really? They didn't have a Verizon model?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure not,
Oh.
dude.
Oh.
Eduardo's correcting me. Eduardo's correcting me. I guess I was wrong. My bad. But I saw a really interesting one. It's a phone that we don't talk about. How about the OnePlus 7? You're making a face like you already know the answer is T-Mobile.
I'm thinking back. I had I don't know if it was the 7 or the 7 Pro. Whichever one had the camera that shot out the top. Do you remember that? It was a mechanic. It was like a
That was the 8 Pro, I think.
No, I never had an 8 Pro.
Yeah,
I think
dude.
it was a 7 or a 7 Pro. I never had an 8 Pro or an 8. Although I do remember vaguely those phones being pretty nice.
All right. Well, here is the.
Oh, and by the way, OnePluses,
mhm.
no band 14.
I'm seeing that. OnePlus is 100% a T-Mobile phone, just hands down. It doesn't really
Yeah.
play nice with Verizon.
They did have some OnePlus Verizon models though for a couple of years.
Yeah. Carlos is correct me. I guess 7 Pro had the camera pop out. So
Dude, that was a cool little feature, man.
honestly, here's a question: do you prefer camera pop out over hole punch?
The camera, like the punch holes, they don't phase me. They don't impact me. I'm used to it now. No big deal. I guess those mechanized slider cameras, I could see that becoming a problem, dying over time. Then it won't launch or something, or you drop it when it's out and it just breaks. I don't know, man. I guess there's always that risk. Anytime you have moving parts, man, risky business.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Me personally, since I use the front-facing camera, I would say pretty rarely. I prefer the mechanical mechanism. I'd rather have the full uninterrupted screen without like the need for like black bars and stuff like that. Because the only time I'm using the front-facing camera realistically is for like FaceTime or like basically video calling
I legit want a smartphone without a camera.
without a camera at all.
No cameras.
That's a terrible idea, dude. QR codes, bro. Come on, QR code scanning. You gotta have a back cam.
No. I mean, I have 4 devices, 5 devices. I want one that doesn't have cameras
Why?
because I don't want it to have cameras.
But why? Like what? Like what?
If I don't need cameras, then I'll go without cameras. I have 4 other phones that have cameras. So I would want to build that phone, no cameras, no nothing.
All right,
Yeah.
Sneed, you're a manufacturer. You're building your dream phone. What exactly do you put in it and incorporate in it?
No, I wish there was a smartphone that didn't have cameras. That's
That's
all
the
I'm
only
saying.
change.
I would own one.
Well, Sneed, if you could have a dream phone, what would your dream phone look like? Like, does it run iOS or does it run Android?
Runs Android. It would have a Google camera. It would have Google software, and it would have Samsung design elements, and it would have like an 8,000 milliamp hour battery. It'd be like a 6.5-inch display. It'd go edge to edge, flat panel, none of that nonsense curved business. I would want dual front firing speakers. I would want like 50-watt charging at least because I got to charge 8,000 milliamp hour battery. Uh, Got to have all the cellular bands. Got to have low band, mid band, millimeter wave, 5G. Uh,
I
I don't
got
know,
something
man.
that you haven't touched on that I really miss. I want MagStrip back. Do you remember Samsung MagStrip? It was the thing that let you make the Samsung Pay work at like any card reader, even if it didn't have the NFC chip on it.
No, I mean I would want an IR blaster. I think that would be cool to bring back. I could use my
Ooh.
phone as the remote control for a TV.
How about the headphone jack? Sky Chunk asked if you care about the
Yeah,
headphone.
I like the headphone jack. I
Agreed.
would like the headphone jack because I like connecting external mics and stuff like that.
Do you know it'd be really cool, bro? And this will never happen, but it'd be so legit if a phone had a Thunderbolt 4 port. Just freaking 40 gigabit per second transfer speed, dude.
Just for the sake of transfer.
Well, I mean, there's the transfer element, but Thunderbolt 4 supports DisplayPort as well. So that'd be great for like a phone that wants to be like a DeX. And the way I'm picturing it, bro, is you have this phone with all this transfer speed, right? You plug it into like a nice little docking station or something. And you could plug in like an external GPU to it, get like some NVMe SSDs plugged up to it, just turn into a full like proper like workstation kind of
I
dealio.
actually think that every smartphone that's considered to be flagship, so like the processor reaches some kind of benchmark, I think every one of those phones should be able to power a monitor and serve as a computer.
I
Like,
agree.
it should be able to like double up because the hardware can do it, right? So it should give you the ability to do that. Connect a
Your
monitor.
biggest problem is thermals. That's the biggest problem.
Well, at that point, you're looking at active heat dissipation and cooling, right? So, and with an 8,000 milliamp hour battery,
Side note though, Evelyn Exuma said, if you don't want a camera, you could try the Fairphone. It's fully modular and you can remove everything.
Bro,
Battery, camera,
those internals on that phone are from like Jelly Bean, Android Jelly Bean.
Fair. I like the idea of a modular phone though. Oh, alternate reality saying the Sony Pro phone almost has. Dude, we should look at a Sony phone, bro. I haven't seen a Sony phone in like forever. Have you?
Dude, I remember one time I went to Verizon. I think it was like a Black Friday joint. It was the last time I bought a phone like financed through a carrier. It was the OG Pixel on Black Friday. And actually, no, it might have been 1 year before that. So I would have been what, like a Droid Turbo, and Verizon was still selling the Xperia. And like this dude behind me legit told the salesperson, "I'm here to buy a Sony Xperia." And I'm like, "What?" I turned around, I was like, "You want to buy a Sony phone?" Like I didn't even know that they had those phones here. Bro, the phone was shoved in the corner in the back of the store like by itself. Like LG was in front of it. Motorola was in front of it. The Google phone was in front of it. You know, the iPhones, obviously, and the Samsungs. But like in the corner was this one Sony Xperia. And it was a gorgeous phone. But like nobody wanted those phones.
So Sony actually has one up for pre-order right now,
But they're
and
expensive as hell from what I remember.
they are. But this phone looks like a beast. First off, Sony needs to work on their website because my God, was it hard to get to the freaking spec part of the site, dude. It's got so much just clutter on it, dude. It's insane. But all right, I'm sharing my screen. I'm gonna try to zoom in here a little bit. It's got like a crazy high refresh rate thing. Somehow it supports an HDMI adapter and DisplayPort with Type C, which is cool. Supports 6 gigahertz, yada yada yada. Dude, it still has expandable storage up to 1 terabyte. That's a feature that I'm surprised you didn't say you wanted back. Expandable storage.
Wait, it's got expandable.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's hard to come by now.
Dude, it's got 512 gigs of internal storage. Just off the rip. 12
So
gigs of RAM.
it's gonna take like a 2 tera external, and then it's got 500 on board.
It takes a 1 tera external up to 1 terabyte, and it's got 512 on board. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. I remember the Galaxies used to do that. My Note,
Dude,
my
it's got
S10.
dual SIM. It's got dual SIM.
Yeah, they do dual SIM overseas, dog.
Physical dual SIM.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, dude, fingerprint sensor, sweet. Speaking of which, did you see Apple put in a patent for a fingerprint sensor that uses fiber optic cable?
Glass?
Yeah, like legit fiber optics.
Wow. I kind of like what Sony does, how they integrate the fingerprint scanner into the power button on the side rail of the phone.
Dude,
I like that positioning.
I like it too. They're the only one that has a 4K HDR display, by the way, that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, man.
I think it's overkill, but it's 120 hertz to boot, which is pretty impressive.
Dude, that phone's gonna be like $1,500.
Oh, for sure. But finally, we get to the band support, and look, it actually supports N41, N71. It supports N77.
Shout out to Technoid, man. He's the one who did the coverage on this phone.
Oh, he already did the coverage on it?
Well, he covered it in one of his episodes of Technoid, and
Are you sure it was this one? Because this one's up for pre-order right now. It's not even.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one he doesn't own one. He covered it, that the story was breaking that it was coming out and released. And
Okay. Well, yeah. So Sneed, do you think this phone would work well on Verizon considering its band support?
yeah, man, no millimeter wave, but it would still be fine.
Well, isn't N260 millimeter wave?
Oh, it does have millimeter wave.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it looks like it supports the whole gambit. I mean, it's got 2, 4, 5, 12. It doesn't have band 14 though.
Band 4. These phones just ain't for the FirstNet, man. If you're on FirstNet, you got two choices: the Galaxies and the iPhones. That's it. Nothing else is guaranteed, dog.
But everything else is there. It's got 46, 48, 66, 71. Dude, honestly, Sneed, I would love to see you buy one of these phones.
Nah.
All right, do you want to see what the price is? Because it's sickening.
1,500.
1,600.
Even better.
1,600, bro. You know what's sad is though, I kind of wouldn't mind having a phone like this if it actually gets
I'd have to
supported.
give it one of my iPhones though.
If it actually got supported by the carriers, because bro, it's even got a headphone jack.
Dennis, the phone payment on that alone, just the phone, is going to be like $86 a month, dog.
Well, bro, maybe all I gotta do is just save $280 by getting this freaking Sony credit card.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's coming out on September 1st, so it's still a little ways away.
We'll sell like we'll see like 3 people in the US with it.
Probably none. All right. Well, anyway, guys, this show has been going on for a hot minute. I've had a lot of fun. I think we're going to wind down and kind of call it in. But before I do, I want to give a proper shout out to Sneed. He's the man himself. He's part of the SMT Nation. Well, he is the father of the SMT Nation, I should say. And Sneed, I think you should tell the people, the fine folks, about tomorrow. I think you should break it here. Tell them
Oh
the
yeah.
incredibleness that's happening tomorrow.
Oh dude, we're going to have friend of the show Roger Entner back on the podcast. Dennis, I'd love to extend the invite to you to have you on as well. So we'll definitely do that. Bring your questions. He's a straight shooter. Roger is a fantastic human being. And I have a lot of respect for him. You know, when it comes to industry chops, very few, as knowledgeable and experienced as him, and shoot it straight too. So I can't wait to have him back on the show. And we'll be talking fixed wireless access. We'll be talking subscriber gains, company operations, networking trends. Some of the stuff that he's able to get in terms of data on the consumer is astonishing. I think he's going to share some goodies with us. So if you guys have seen my previous couple of episodes where Roger's been on, they were awesome. So I can't wait for him to come back on the show. And I'll definitely tweet it out. You guys can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe to my YouTube channels and then turn on the bell notification so you know when we do go live. So mods, if you can, my YouTube channel, maybe my Twitter, if you guys could link those and help people know where I'm at and what I'm doing. And that podcast should be really good.
Yeah, so guys, make sure you check it out. Roger's an awesome dude. And Sneed, I want to be on, especially with Roger. Listen, I've become the cable guy, and Roger also has a page in that book. So I'll definitely be on tomorrow. We'll see you there. Everyone that's watching, make sure you come watch. But before you do that, make sure you smash that like button, share this on the social webs, and make sure you follow Sneed at Sneed Mobile Tech on Twitter so you can see him test out Xfinity Mobile. With that, guys, I'm going to say peace. We're out.
Peace.